Let there be light. Hello and welcome back to I Swear I Upload More Than Just Reddit Content. My name is Evan Edinger, and today I make one of the most heavily requested videos I've ever had to make. What do I do? How the heck am I learning German after Duolingo? Because the thing is, Duolingo's great, but it only gets you so far. If you need to get extra fluency, how are you getting there? / how am I getting there? Especially because a lot of you have picked up learning a language because of me, which warms my heart a lot, especially if it is German, because I've been trying my very best to get myself past B2, and today I'm giving you all the tips and tricks that I've got to get myself there. Also, just so you know, today's video is sponsored by HelloTalk, a great language learning app that reached out to me to be like, Evan, our app's pretty cool. How do you think you can fit us in to your language learning journey? And I definitely can, and I'll tell you more about that in tip number 2. Because here's the thing, as much as I'm able to communicate in German and I can effectively be understood and I can understand when people are speaking to me, my knowledge of the language is still intermediate at best. At the beginning of everyone's language learning journey, everything is so fast. You're learning so much new content so quickly, and you're just like a big old sponge getting that A1, A2 content. But then you get this plateau around the B1, B2 range where you just have to do so much to increase that vocabulary to move up. So me personally, I used about 5 or so different resources to get me to the level I'm at now and that I'm still using to further my journey. But just so you know, even though these are very, very much helpful, especially if you're learning German, a lot of these tips are really useful for anyone regardless of what language you're learning. Except the first one, which is DeutscheWelle.com, a godsend. Deutsche Welle is a website that is funded by the German government to help you learn their language. Lovely. Now, I've talked about this website before in previous videos, but I've done so much more with it since then, and I've learned so much because of it. The thing that I really like as someone who's trying to teach himself a language is I need structure. I need a bit of help to try and get me there. If you just say, here, learn some words, I don't know, I kind of need to see an outline of, is that actually progressing me? Am I actually doing a lot of help? Now, I have talked about some of these web series in my previous videos, so to give you a quick catch up, Deutsche Welle has a couple web series that are intrinsically able to help you grow your German. Starting with 1, Nicos Weg, which gets you from A1, A2, all the way to B1, as in they teach all the stuff that you would need to know for A1, A2, and B1, all within the course. It's very structured. You watch 2 to 4 minute videos where these actors are acting out scenes about a guy who moves to Germany and then accidentally loses his passport, so he's gotta learn German. You gotta learn German if you're gonna find your way to get out. It might be a theme throughout these series. But it's pretty darn good because everyone speaks very quickly, like real German. They're not slowing it down for us at all. And I like that it's specific topics per every video. And honestly, the exercises they give, there's so many of them that sometimes, even though I want to just binge and watch to find out what happens, oh my God, are they gonna love each other? Are they gonna like meet up? I'm so excited, what's gonna happen? I can't because there's 10 exercises I've got to do before I get to that. So I like that it makes you set a pace to slow down to actually learn as opposed to just skipping through. I like that. Another good series Deutsche Welle has, which gets you all the way to B1, is How die Wildcat, Gefangen in Zeit, which is basically about an Englishman who hates German. He hates Germany, and somehow he gets stuck in a Groundhog Day time loop and has to learn German in order to escape. Like I said, you'll see the theme. But these episodes are super interesting. It is gripping. The only downside, there's only 4 exercises per episode, and so sometimes I just couldn't sleep. I needed to know what happened. That's how good this storyline is. Really helps you. The grammar is really, really helpful, and I found it incredibly effective for helping increase my German. And the last series I'd recommend from them is actually what I'm doing right now, which teaches B1 and B2, right, getting even more advanced, and it's called Jojo Sucht Glück. You know, she's seeking happiness. It's about a Brazilian, she moves to Germany. The German is very colloquial. They're using loads of like real German expressions, a lot of Denglish. It's real German. Downsides, it is a bit dated, but the exercises are pretty good and difficult, and I'm finding myself very frustrated because as much as I think I'm really getting good at German, boy, they use so much umgangssprachlich. That's what the word is. There's so much colloquial words that they're using that I don't know, that it's frustrating that I don't know them, but I'm learning it. That's the good stuff. I'm about a third of the way through the story now. I'm excited to get deeper into that B2, but just so you know, the site has loads of other things like German news, but spoken slowly so that way you can understand it more. They've got podcasts. They have like a reality TV show that's German to teach you German. I didn't quite like that. I don't really like reality TV, but hey, the option's out there. And that's all the good stuff I've gotten out of them. Now, the one thing you might notice about all the different tips I'm gonna give you in this video is a lot of them really focus just on building vocab and just on comprehension when there's an incredibly important part of the communication process left out. Communication, actually speaking. That's where HelloTalk comes in. Like I said, HelloTalk is sponsoring today's video, and I've had a lot of time to try out their app, and I find it incredibly useful. HelloTalk's elevator pitch: they are a free language learning app that helps you learn a language, any language you want, by speaking to native speakers around the world. the best way to do it. All you gotta do is set the target language you're trying to learn and then also your native language, and the app will automatically find you all the people that actually speak your target language and are trying to learn your native language. So for me, I was able to find Germans that are trying to better their English, and boom, I have a huge list of people that I can just communicate with right there. Now, of course, it is more effective if you go and reach out to certain people that you find interesting, like you can have bios on there and write stuff about yourself. So if you're like, oh, this guy also likes Dark or Breaking Bad, oh, maybe we can start a conversation in German about what did you think about the show? But also, just looking at my HelloTalk inbox right now, the recent 5 messages were all from people that I never reached out to. They're just people like, oh, I want to better my English. So it's just so convenient that people that want to learn a language are helping each other. It's like one hand washes the other. For example, a lovely person named Alexandra messaged me saying she's a native speaker in German and is really trying to practice her English communication for an exam. And so, bam, I'm helping her out with her English, and then I start messaging her in German. Turns out the app is so useful. I was actually writing messages to her in German and English and translating them. Turns out you can just tap the message that you want to send and it will translate it into your native language. So if there's a couple words that you're not really familiar with and you just want a little help, boom. And I know I'm learning German, but I have seen a lot of reviews that this is incredibly useful for people learning Eastern cultural languages like Japanese, Chinese, and Korean. And though it's really useful to communicate via text, you can also record your voice in the app and just have voice chats back and forth to each other if you want to semi-pol back and forth. That's a term me and our friends use for sending voice notes. I don't know why. And that by far, in my opinion, is the strongest point of this app, because you are able to send spoken word to someone and then they can correct you on any little mistake you might have made, maybe with an accent, maybe with something else. That's just so useful. The fact that you can communicate with people and learn at the same time, it's a win-win. And the thing is, as much as I'm highlighting these features, there are a lot of other cool features in the app. The Moments page, which is kind of like Facebook, but for people that are speaking your target language, and you can make posts. For instance, I made a post showing off my pie that I baked, and I tried to have a nice caption about me baking the pie in German. Luckily, the community of HelloTalk people corrected me on all the mistakes I made. Hey, I'm not perfect, I'm trying to learn, but that's the whole point. Just by trying to make a little social media post, I was corrected and I learned maybe use the word for baking. That makes more sense. And lastly, one of the other parts that I really enjoyed about the app is they have a section for learning niche vocab. So if you want to learn just vocab about sports because you really like sports, you can have all these different flashcard packs, learn the words about sports. Personally, I wanted to know how to say all the different things about das Coronavirus, you know, that type of stuff. Genuinely wanted to know, like, just so I'm aware, because I follow a lot of people on Instagram that are talking about like the whole lockdown and stuff. I want to know how to say all the different words in German. Now I do, thanks to this app. Either way, I think HelloTalk can be a really good tool in your language learning toolkit that I'd highly recommend. And also, thank you HelloTalk for sponsoring today's video, because I'm happy to share stuff about your app to people that also want to learn a language better. My third tip focuses on helping you to learn things that aren't necessarily taught by your structured lessons. For instance, did you know that German has 3 different words to say at least? You have zumindest, you have mindestens, and you have wenigstens. Each one means at least. However, how can you tell which at least you should use in which sentence? There's a lovely blog called Your Daily German, which is really, really funny. The guy writes every one of these little German lessons to be hilarious and really help you learn via that comical style. For example, in terms of the at least thing, he says that mindestens means, you know, at least, but I wanted it a bit more. Zumindest is more of a just flat at least, doesn't really have any emotional connotations to it. And then wenigstens is more of like a, I'm whining, wenigstens. As of his words, it helped me remember it. Now whenever I hear wenigstens, I'm thinking like, oh, at least this. It's helped me remember. That's how easy it is. I'll link 3 of his blog posts in the description that I found the most effective. One of them being doch and how to use it more effectively, and the other being adjective endings, how to make it so easy to figure out which adjective ending to choose. If you're unaware, German has like 64 or something. Not different endings, but different cases, and therefore it's a big mess. But he has a really useful one for making it funny, a way to remember it. So big up your daily German. My 4th tip is definitely one you've heard before, whether that be from me or from anyone else. But no matter where you are in your language learning journey, you are going to need more exposure. Not that kind of exposure, to the language you're learning. For German specifically, it's not that difficult. I've got some tips for this. 1, it's gonna be annoying at first, but change your phone settings and your social media settings to German. I know it's gonna be annoying. Like I said, the first couple days you'll be like, I don't know what Einstellung means. Einstellungen, what is Einstellungen? Is settings, all right? Just getting your settings. But especially if you're trying to do something you're really used to doing on a social media app and you're like, I don't know what this means, that's okay. Don't be upset about it. I think that's completely normal. I definitely took it out of myself when I switched my phone to German and it was a bit too difficult. I switched it back. I came back when I felt like I was ready, like 2 or 3 months later. I felt a bit better. I lasted a bit longer. And now I've had my phone set to German for like, I don't know, at least 2 years. It's a lot more important than you would think to have those basic words like download photo in German rather than just seeing it in English. And of course, to make sure you're not just learning German in the course you're taking, read a book, okay? What book am I gonna do, Evan? Pick me an easy book. What's a book you really like in English? Just pick that, read that book in German or your target language, and it's just so much better. You already know the story, so you're not gonna be struggling as much for, oh, I don't know what this really means, and you can really pick up the context clues so much better. I'm currently still on Harry Potter 5, okay? Harry Potter 5 is probably my least favorite of the Harry Potters, just gonna throw that out there. It's not that it's bad, it's just, the other ones are better. But I'm currently reading through Harry Potter 5 while listening to the audiobook so I can also understand and listen to the words and hear how the words sound good together, because I find that super effective. And lastly, also, watch German TV shows like Dark. If you're one of those people that watches this video, even though you're not interested in learning a language, just because you like hearing me talk, you put me on in the background. Watch Dark, okay? Regardless, watch Dark on Netflix. Do not dare dub that. Watch it in the original German, just put English subs on if you want. If you are learning German though, I highly recommend watch Dark in German with German subs. It is so cool to be able to watch and understand a show in a language that you did not grow up speaking. And also, by the way, I think it got rated the #1 best show on Netflix in the Rotten Tomatoes poll recently. It's that good, okay, people, it's phenomenal. But it's so cool to be able to understand and comprehend this. And if you can't necessarily understand what they're saying with your ears, at least the text is there. You can see those words like, oh, and it's just amazing. There's also a funny German series called How to Sell Drugs Online Fast that I thought was pretty good. But whether or not those two types of shows are your thing, just watch more German media. Look at German things, watch German things, and then it's just going to build your vocab. Slowly, sure, it's not gonna be structured, but it's really gonna help. All I can say is I know it helps because it has actually helped me quite a lot. And my final piece of advice really is contingent on how much time you spend on social media. Are you one of those people that wakes up, you look at your Insta stories, you go throughout the day, you look at your Insta story? Are you one of those types of people? Because an easy way to help you learn any language, specifically German, follow people that speak that language. Watch their stories. You're going through your day, you're watching your standard stories of people you know. Also, just follow a couple German people. It's really effective. Heck, I watched an 8-frame Insta story ad read the other day from a German influencer, and I just ate that stuff up. I was like, oh, this is so umweltfreundlich. Call back to the sponsor, but just like HelloTalk, how that's useful for actually hearing real German spoken by real Germans, that's another reason why I really like this method as well, because it is a good way to actually hear real German. So just off the top of my head, 2 people that I'd recommend you follow specifically if you're trying to learn German, because I think they're pretty great and funny and cool. Right? I'm simping. But 1, we got EmaxLouise. She speaks Danglish more than any other person I've ever heard of in my entire life. So you'll be just listening to one of her stories and she'll start with like, welcome to Chili's, du bist mein, and it just goes crazy fast into the German and then ends with like, it's your boy. It's like she's a walking Vine reference mixed with a 2014 Tumblr mixed with Germany. Okay, 10 out of 10, good shout, really good for effectively learning German, and it's just pretty cool, I like her aesthetic. Also, you might see her on this channel at some point in the future, so that's pretty cool, she's pretty rad. And the other person I'd recommend you follow is called Christine, or Wildnisimherzen, and she just has a really cool dog. I really like her style, her aesthetic is so freaking cool, and whenever she speaks German in stories, she's so well-spoken and eloquent that it just feels like German ASMR in my ears. I hope don't embarrass her when I say that, but yeah, she's just really lovely. Her German is really nice, and I find her very easy to understand. And like I said, it's pretty cool. So follow both these people if you want some cool posts on your feed and a little bit extra exposure to your German, or just because you think they're cool. I don't know, it's up to you. But those are my 5 big tips on how I've managed to get past B1 and furthering myself into B2 for German. I hope they're as effective for you as they are for me, as we all continue to hopefully one day reach that C2 rank. We're gonna get there one day. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please be sure to give it a big old thumbs up, and also subscribe. I make new videos every Sunday, every Thursday. Your thoughts on this video will be in next Thursday's video, so I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Anyway, I will see you guys on Thursday then. Goodbye.